Offset guitars are extremely popular, more so now than pretty much any time in history. And there's three that stand out as the go-tos, and today I'm going to compare how they sound. Now for the purposes of this demo, everything's going to be pretty clean for the most part. There's only going to be one sound example that has a little bit of dirt on it, because then you can really hear the differences. Now the three guitars we will be comparing, of course, are a Jazzmaster, a Jaguar, and a Mustang. The Jazzmaster and the Mustang both have the Japanese stock electronics and pickups in them. The Jaguar has EP Customs hand-wound pickups installed. So without further ado, all of the sounds that you're hearing are going to be exactly the same presets, spanned throughout the three different guitars for an honest comparison. clips out of the way, it's safe to say they sound pretty different. I'm not going to harp on how they play because this is very specific and each one is different, and each neck style on versions of these that you will get will be different, but for me, by far, the best of the three feel-wise is the Jazzmaster. That is an insanely good guitar. It is so good that if I did not have sentimental value with my 65 Jazzmaster, I would sell that, but my wife would kill me because I played that at our wedding. But removing my objective preference, I like how each one really does have its unique flavor to it. Now, tonally, I think you could go with any of these. They're all really, really good guitars. And I say, even though that the Jaguar does have upgraded pickups in it, it says a lot that the classic vibe is able to somewhat hang with these two higher-end Japanese models. So there's that little nugget of information in case you were wondering about that. The Jazzmaster to my ears sounds the fullest, and I'm going to chalk some of that up to the fact that it's a full 25.5-inch scale length like you would get on a Telecaster or Strat. Now the Mustang and the Jag, they're a 24-inch scale length, so I'd like to directly compare those two for a second. Now if I was trying to pick between a Mustang and a Jaguar, I would want to know these few little things. First of all, the Mustang is going to be a lot lighter than the Jaguar 9 times out of 10. That's something to keep in mind. The second thing is the trem system. I like the trem infinitely better on the Jaguar, despite it being heavier than the vibrato that comes stock on the Mustangs. That's just me. So would you want something that weighs a little bit more and has a much more abusable tremolo system? Or would you want something a little bit lighter that, in my opinion, also it plays a little easier in general, the Mustang over the Jaguar? And I don't say this with all guitars because I think some brands, and even with Fender, there are models that are so similar that there's really not a purpose to having one of each. But in the case of all three of these, there are enough differentiating points where you could definitely justify having all three. But if you only had to pick one, which would you choose? Leave me a comment and let me know. If you liked today's video, I know it's kind of short, but I did have an idea. I'm only going to make this if you guys are interested in this. Would you like to do a blind sound test between guitars? If so, I can do them with these three. I just didn't know if it would be something you guys would be interested in. So let me know about that. Subscribe if you have not already, and we will see you again tomorrow for episode 5 of Would I Rebuy This Guitar? It's a funny one, I promise. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you then.